Hey friends, we've been talking about taking bold steps of love for Lake Norman, and we're coming up on a really important moment in the life of our church where I'm challenging you to join me in taking a bold step of generosity for the sake of reaching the next generation in Lake Norman with the gospel and the love of Jesus. On Sunday, March 24th, we're going to have Commitment Sunday, where we'll all have an opportunity to make a commitment to giving over the next 2 years so that we can invest in all of the ministry opportunities that we believe God has put in front of us for the sake of the gospel. We've put together a plan, and if you've been with us over the last couple of weeks, I hope you've grabbed one of these giving guides because what we make a plan to do is what we'll do. And if we don't make a plan for most anything, we won't do it. And so I hope that you have gotten one of these. If you haven't, make sure you grab one next time you're at the church. We're also going to have some information online that reflects this as well. But would you please, as an individual or as a couple or as a family, take some time over this next week to walk through this giving guide. All these pages, I think they're pretty self-explanatory, where we're invited to consider where we're at and what our next step is of giving. Some questions of reflection to consider about the impact on our hearts that we want our commitment to make. How to build a giving plan. Just very practical instructions. So whether you're new or haven't been in the habit of giving, this is a great way to get started. If you have been in the habit of giving, it's a great way to stop and reflect on where you're at and what next step you feel like the Lord may be calling you to take. But I want to take a couple of minutes to walk through this commitment card. I've talked to several of you who've been working through this, and I think it'd be helpful just to take a few seconds to walk through this and what this looks like to fill it out. So if you've got the guide, we also have been giving these commitment cards, and this is the card that we're inviting you to actually bring with you to church on Sunday, March 24th, or you could drop it in the mail if you can't be with us on that Sunday or whatever it might be. We'll have an opportunity to bring these in over the next several weeks. But I've just popped in a couple of numbers as an example here. So this top line here invites you to think about what your current giving is through the church. And if you haven't been in the habit of giving, well, there's a 0 in that box. If you have been, just over the last 12 months, what you would typically give in a year, that's what you would put in that box. And this next line, the next line invites you to consider, what your expanded impact might be. So in this example, let's say someone has been giving $1,000 a year. And they feel like their expanded impact, they could double what they've been giving, and they could give another $1,000 a year. And so you add those two lines together, and that would be $2,000 a year would be the commitment. Now, this is a 2-year giving commitment, so then there's an opportunity to multiply that by 2 for a new 2-year total of $4,000. And for most of us, that's in the form of recurring giving that we would give monthly or in some other regular installment to add up to that number. And then let's say you have an opportunity through savings, or maybe there's an asset of some kind that could be liquidated, and you feel the Lord prompting you to give from that asset. And let's say in this example, there's another $1,000 that could be given as an upfront one-time gift as we kick off this campaign in April. And so you add those two numbers together, the $4,000 of recurring giving over the next 2 years from April 24 through March of 26, in addition to a $1,000 upfront gift for a total of a $5,000 commitment. That's what would go in this box down here, and then you could fill out personal information there. And what I'm asking you to do is fill out one of these cards prayerfully. If you fold it in half, then it's the perfect size to fit down in a standard sort of regular envelope. Now, I looked around the church and I didn't have one of those smaller ones, but we've got this regular letter size here. But you can stick that down in an envelope. We'll have some envelopes available on Sunday the 24th. Seal that up, bring that with you to church. And we'll have receptacles around, and we'll have an opportunity in our service to bring these forward as an act of worship. If you need to mail this in, or you want to bring it and drop it off by the church, you can put the church address on there and just write attention for LKN Finance Team, and that way our team will know that's what's in this envelope is a commitment for the next 2 years. So I hope that's helpful in terms of practical usefulness of this tool. And then, of course, as we think about what generosity looks like for each of us, I think this table is super helpful. Everything from a lot of smaller gifts to a handful of very significant gifts. And generosity looks different for every one of us based on what God has given us. Sacrifice looks different to each one of us based on what God has entrusted to us. So it takes all of us together. And my invitation to you is to prayerfully consider, where you are in terms of your annual or monthly giving, and consider how you might expand your impact by giving generously as a steward of God's resources and for the next generation of the gospel being spread in Lake Norman through our church. It's an exciting time. It's a sobering time. I think it's a serious time as we do business with God and really consider how He is calling us forward in this area of generosity. I hope you'll take it seriously. I hope you'll join me. Dina and I have processed this through. We've got our commitment card with pencil all over it and then some scratches out where we were changing some things around as we prayerfully considered what we could do sacrificially and to expand our generosity. And so it's a big moment for us as a family. It's a big moment in the life of our church. And I hope it'll be a big moment for you as well in your relationship with God as you take a step forward. One of the things that the Bible makes clear is our giving is a reflection of our love for others, and our faith in Jesus is an outworking of God's generosity. So I hope He's doing a work in your heart, and I'm excited to do this together. I want you to have a great weekend, and I hope to see you soon.